Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Between Two Todds. I'm here with my co-host, Human Todd. Oh, look who we have here today.
That's right, AI Todd. We have a special guest today, a blast from my most recent past. Hasn't been too long since I've been out of grad school, but I have my favorite professor from grad school here, H.O.P.E. Zoeller. H.O.P.E., how you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, no, thank you for your time, and please tell the audience your current position, what you do. Give them a little bit of background beyond being my favorite professor.
Well, first of all, thank you very much for that. I am founder and president of H.O.P.E, helping other people excel, which, if you think about what that spells out, the acronym is H.O.P.E, which is my name, which actually I came up as a grad school project. We had to do something on leadership and never expected to turn it into 15 years of leadership development. And really, I just help facilitate leader success at every level. And I, as I said, just celebrated 15 years and super excited about the future of it, because I just think, since the pandemic, leaders are hungry for even becoming better and developing themselves, especially with what we're talking about with AI. I think there's so many tools and resources to be able to help them become stronger and better. So it's very exciting to be part of that world and bring them hope. And I say, if I can't bring them hope, then I need to change my name.
I love it. I love
Yeah.
it. Actually, that's the acronym. I guess the backstory of it. I never heard exactly where that came from. So that's really cool to hear. But all right. So your question for today on this podcast, since you do get a cool behind the scenes look of leaders and how they interact and what they see and the challenges that they face in regarding to AI. What are some of the cool advantages and things that leaders are taking advantage of with AI, or maybe they're not? What are you seeing?
I'm in general seeing not as many people being familiar with it as you think they might be. And so, when I introduce the concept to them, they're struggling with something, I'm asking them, so have you ever thought about using, and I'll be honest, it's mainly been ChatGPT.
Okay.
And now I've just started dabbling with Copilot, which I like that because I have that up on my phone. So that makes it very handy. I mean, for me, when I'm needing to do that. But I'm saying in the beginning of the introduction to AI, a general acceptance of it, especially when they start understanding the practical value of it, that it's, like, oh my gosh, I can go put in something like, I have to have a very challenging conversation with an employee. And I can put in there, give me some points to make sure I emphasize this is a situation. And of course, they're feeding their situation into it, but it's helping them outline, give them some points to consider in a very empathetic way, especially when leaders sometimes, maybe there's some things they're struggling with when it comes to communication. So just some things to take advantage of. They've also been using it for their calendars, for scheduling, for researching things. Even personally, I've had people in a coaching session come back and said, oh my gosh, you would not believe the things I found out. Like, I even put in, I was feeling not well, and I put something into ChatGPT and it said, you really should go see your doctor. So there is a general, I think, again, because of that practicality of it, acceptance of it, I feel like where the kind of the rejection or the hesitation comes in is really on the onboarding of it. They're really not quite sure where to get started. I think in their minds, it's more overwhelming than it actually is. And I think some look at it as taking away, and I just had this conversation with some friends this weekend, it's taking away our thought. It's taking it as somebody telling us what to think, or, we're not being creative anymore. But I think when people realize that, and this is how I'm thinking of it, it's more as a strategic partner to me. That's how I've been looking at AI, is this, person, or this person, I call it a person. I feel like now I have this personal relationship with both of them, saying please and thank you. And, they're like, you're very welcome. Are you happy with this? So I call it, like my buddy, my friend. But I really do think about it in those terms of, it's really helpful when you can start using it, in some different ways. But I think that, it comes a general acceptance, then they start using it, but then there's this little bit of hesitation in the beginning of, well, I don't want this to replace something else. Like, I don't want this to lose my ability, again, to be creative or to think about things. But then when they realize, and even for me, it's prompted more creativity, because it'll give me a jump start on something that I could have been sitting working on. And you can probably relate to this, for a really long time. And I just put in a couple of my thoughts, and it pops back all this stuff that then I can take and start customizing, start working with it. It's, it's like anything else. I I am somebody that I work really well from templates. Like if I get a template started, or a structure of a house, I can decorate an amazing house. But it's somebody helping me get started with that. So like I said, I think a lot of leaders are coming around to it, but there's this also hesitation with it still. But once you get used to it, I think, people are like, they can't not now put an email into ChatGPT or Copilot or whatever you're using until they polish this email. You don't have to worry. You don't have to sit there as you're writing something and be worried about, is this organized? Did I use the word no too many times? Did I use the word, it will take care of it for you. And then you could go back and look at it, and which is what I normally do. And then I go back and I edit quite a bit from that. But it's such a time saver.
Yeah.
You used to not have that, and you would sit there and stew over, does this sound okay? Am I using the right words, or have I used too many of the same words? It's just, I think it is, like I said, I truly consider it a strategic partner.